status quo of the Catena-X use case DCM is that we have that standard that grants interoperability, and it was created by many involved companies and players like suppliers, research companies from software development, and OEMs as well. We have a kit, which I want to highlight really out, that we have that kit that gives you deeper knowledge on that, and you can have a look on that also later on. We have an open source app in development, and where this event today is about is that we have 3 certified commercial apps ready to choose and use in place, which you see in just a second. And there is a certification also on an own solution at a OEM here. And we have the DCM expert group, which is very important, which are the caretakers of all of that and give the governance to the standard. So there is more or less everything there that is needed to use Catena-X DCM. We have it given. We are ready to, let's say, go into business between suppliers and customers and the other way around, and have Catena-X ready to scale with that use case. At the end,
Jürgen, can I add one small comment? Apologies. So it's important for me to note from the association side that the expert group in like our group that we have in the association is equally staffed by OEMs and suppliers, right? So whatever happens in the standard is always like being worked out from the OEM side and the supplier perspective. So it's not, let's say, for the suppliers in the room like an OEM use case. It really is that partnership that we're trying to enable via Catena-X.
Right. And the group that you mentioned is also gathering feedback from the whole industry of not just one supplier, but companies of all sizes and kinds. This is very important. So there are surveys to even increase, let's say, the input to what is happening there and what you see in the solutions in, right, as I said, just a second. The DCM kit that I already mentioned is what you can also have a look at afterwards. Gives you a deeper insight, not just for IT guys, don't worry, also from a business perspective, what is the vision and mission, how is it working? You can understand it maybe today in the solutions, hopefully, and in my brief introduction, but if you have questions afterwards, the kit may give you the answers to that. Don't waste time. Now let's look into the solutions. Later on, like I said, you can ask questions and get hopefully all the answers then. And that's where I'm handing over to the first presenter, which is the company SAP, with their demand and capacity management solution based on that standard I've highlighted now.
Perfect. And before, Nadine, you start, fairness for everybody, right? You get between 7 and 10 minutes maximum, right? 7 minutes as a guideline, 10 is sort of like the absolute stretch. Please don't ask any questions directly after. We want to provide fairness also to the other solutions. So we'll have a Q&A session at the end where you can answer all your questions and the contact information will be shared. Looking forward to it, Nadine.
Thanks, Hanno. So I will start sharing my screen, and I would say challenge accepted to pitch it within the next 7 to 10 minutes. So also warm welcome from my side, and honored to kick off this session with the first business application deep dive. So we are very proud to present today our latest Catena-X kit on the block with our SAP collaborative demand and capacity solution. And yeah, as the current leading provider of Catena-X business application, this is a solution that we have developed from scratch for Catena-X and based on all the requirements and standards, which Jürgen and Hanno has also referred already about, which have been developed within the first Catena-X consortia and also the Catena-X Association, also certified and tested with the full Catena-X interoperability. To click. So what is it all about? And we heard already the scope of the use case from Jürgen. Our solution enables and supports efficient digital cross-company collaboration and data exchange at the end to improve then your overall supply chain planning and decision-making process in order to achieve, let's say, a more resilient supply chain. Let's have a look a little bit on the key capabilities, I would say. First of all, a digital collaboration and joint resolution handling. So you have a common view on the plant demand and capacity situation. So no single portals anymore, like you know them from the past. No PDF exchange, so you have a common platform to exchange the information. The collaboration model is structured around a common language, which enables you for an easier communication between your customers, your suppliers, as everybody speaks in the same data standards, so to say. Then for sure you have an early alerting. You get faster insights and notification about your suppliers capacity, shortages, or delivery problems. Again, benefit for you. You have the possibility to early detect a potential capacity bottleneck, and then also have the possibility to react in time on it. Then for sure, we heard it already, it's all about demand transparency, get your customers' actual demand forecasts for short and long-term horizon, and then also again have the possibility to react on it. The benefit again for you, all participating partners are on the same page and have access to accurate and up-to-date demand and capacity information. And it's for sure, it's a continuous monitoring. The direct plan versus the actual supply deliveries, we will see this in a bit also in a system, so that you also have always to participate, the possibility to validate and forecast the delivery reliability. And again, here also the benefit for you enables all participating partners to have access to the latest up-to-date demand and capacity information. And for sure, with that, you also improve your capacity utilization. So in order that you can avoid also overcapacities or capacity shortfalls. So here also the benefit for you in the solution is that you have a better resource utilization, lower inventory costs. We know that this can be a lot, and less expenses also related to replanning or last minute adjustments, which you might have to take. But I would say enough for the theory so far. Let's hand over to Alex Kühn, my colleague, and have a look also here into the system.
Thank you, Nadine. Before we jump into the system, just a brief introduction into the process itself. Imagine on the left side, the customer has shared his demand with his supplier, and the supplier again shared his capacity data with his customer. So the result is that an automatic comparison took place just in the moment the sharing was performed. And you would see then a situation like this on the left-hand side with the three red bars in the chart, where there is not enough capacity for the demand, or the demand is too high for the capacity. You can look at it either way. Now the moment is given to start the collaboration. One of the two participants can start, for example, commenting on that specific data situation. And they can agree on maybe shifting demands or reducing demands or raising capacity or whatever it might be. So the whole process goes back into the local planning systems, whatever it might be. In our example here, it's IBP. It could be anything else. And after calculating the results, the data is shared back again, and feasible plan is now done. So, without further ado, let me guide you into the system itself. I assume you can see my screen here.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's our home screen with now two roles. Actually, here on the demand management side, you would be in the customer role. On the capacity management side, you would be in the supplier role. And here we got some technical configuration area, which would go far too deep to go into today. So the alerts that I talked about, a red bar is raised, would light up here in that for example, in that little bell section here in the alerting section. You could jump directly into such an alert by clicking just on it. Being on the supplier side now, in my supplier tenant in our SAS BTP cloud software, I would like to guide you to the managed capacity group. The capacity group is an object that is the communication device for the supplier back to his customer. In the capacity group, a supplier can basically add up different demands from his customer, so he can get a greater overview about the situation for a specific production facility, production capacity. And the capacity itself is just the delivery promise. It's not a capacity for a specific machine or whatever. Yeah. So going into a capacity group here.
You hit the 7 minutes now, just as an FYI.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm hurrying up. You see that exact situation I was talking about, bars with different colors, with different meanings that are standardized. We can jump directly into the Catena-X terms. Yeah, so long-term, medium-term, short-term horizons. You can see in those bar charts that for example here in that long-term chart something is missing. There's incomplete data, so no demands are available for a specific point in time. You can see that the short-term looks rather good, medium-term looks perfect. So you can now start the collaboration, for example, by adding a comment here regarding these incomplete data. For example, the capacity manager on Peter Punch side, on the supplier side, can now ask when can we expect the maintenance of the long-term horizon, or if there's something else, if there is the demand cut off on purpose. Yeah, we have also the possibility here. Now we are in a version that is shared. Yeah, so this is shared to the customer, but we can also work on it in a working copy where someone might have changed already something. Here we've got a different data. Yeah, so it's very short time to explain something, but I hope I could give you some kind of information. Please come back to us. Please don't hesitate to get in touch.
Thank you.
Maybe Nadine for the last minute.
Last second, Hanno. So quickly summarizing here what you have seen. So full commitment from SAP side here to Catena-X. We are also further developing the solution, now also bringing AI functionalities in, for example, Catena-X interoperability approved and confirmed also in an official Catena-X end-to-end test. It's a SaaS solution, as you could see. It runs standalone and doesn't require any local installation, but you also for sure have the possibility, if you want to have a full integration with backend solutions. And for sure, happy to support you, fast time to value and test it out in a POC. So it's a super easy setup. If you're already registered into the Catena-X data space, it's less than 1 day effort to kick it off. And now really thank you a lot. I hope you're still in time, Hanno.
10 minutes, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, in the order as at the beginning mentioned, we move forward to the company O9 Solutions, and I already see Falco online and his colleague. Let's go on.
I would actually kick it off. Very nice to meet you. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Philippe Wolf, based in Paris. I'm in charge of solutions for industrial manufacturing clients in Europe, and I'm today with my colleague Falco, who is in charge of procurement offering at O9. Today, what we want to do is first get the opportunity to introduce O9, who we are, and some client case studies, and then we want to also outline what is the main value proposition we have when it comes to Catena-X DCM use case. But first, who we are and what's the background of O9. We are a technology provider, fully cloud native, and what we deliver is integrated planning and decision making for our clients. Our mission, what we see is that companies we serve faced 3 types of silos that prevent them from actually making fast, efficient decisions and optimize operations. And the 3 types of silo we see is first internal silos, so functions not talking or synchronizing their plans together, plans that are not aligned between long-term, mid-term, and short-term. And that's the first thing we solve is actually our end-to-end planning capabilities from a demand planning side, supply planning, production planning, procurement planning. Second, and I think that's the main topic for today, is external silos. So building on top of what Jürgen brought, right? I think we see companies are looking a lot in the 4 walls, but are suffering from lack of visibility on downstream and upstream partners. And that's what we solve with our supplier collaboration offering across number of workload, whether it's capacity for mid and long term, and that's the topic of today, or more short-term forecast collaboration, even order collaboration, inventory collaboration. That's one. And number 2 is risk management capabilities, so ability to identify risk in your extended supply chain, multi-tier, and understand what is the impact on your business and what is the solution scenario you have to build to resolve. And last but not least is data silos that our clients are facing. What we often see is our clients, before working with O9, are actually planning and making decisions across a number of systems. And that's why we built our unique proprietary data model called Enterprise Knowledge Graph that aim at consolidating different data sources, whether it's ERP transactional system, Excel spreadsheets, CRM, or any other system, and we consolidate all of that into our end-to-end data model. Today, we are more than 3,000 people company. We serve 200 of the largest client in the world in numerous industries, and specifically in automotive, we work with both OEMs and suppliers, and you see some of example at the bottom of this page, including Iveco, Toyota, but also Marelli, Valeo, Pirelli. Specifically on the capacity collaboration, we enable that at many clients in automotive, specifically at Iveco, at Toyota, Marelli, and other industries such as T-Mobile and Nike. So we have long experience in setting up collaboration between, say, OEMs, buyer and suppliers. And of course, that's why we're now certified with Catena-X DCM since last October. Now, what is our specific value proposition for Catena-X DCM? So of course, the process is very standardized, and I think that's the power of Catena-X, bringing this standard framework. So from a say screen and workflow perspective, O9 we enable something very similar to what our colleagues from SAP have just shared. So I will insist more on what makes it unique, right? And I think why O9, we see collaboration as a transformation actually. So it's not only about the technology, but it's also about expertise. Say collaboration topic, whether it's as a supplier with your OEMs or as an OEM with your suppliers, actual transformation that touch upon not only the technology, but most importantly about the process, about potentially organization as well. And one thing that will differentiate O9 that we actually bring both, right? And we know in our experience in setting collaboration across multi-party that there are some non-trivial questions that are always raised. If you're a supplier, for instance, how do you consolidate demand across OEM? How do you allocate capacity to different OEM that are running on the same production line? How do you adjust to different maturity of planning across your numerous plants? And how do you connect then these signals coming or this capacity requests coming from OEMs to your demand planning, production planning processes? Similarly, as a buyer or as an OEM, you have many questions, right? How do I onboard at scale my suppliers and thousands of suppliers globally that have different level of maturity how do you deal with the different processes you have as well that we can enable through Catena-X DCM, whether it's serial weekly life or there's some specific processes such as the APQP processes. So there's a number of questions we have experience in addressing with our clients, and that's what you get also with online. But of course, as a technology provider, we believe we differentiate also with our technology, and I think the few main points are here on the screen. So one is a seamless integration of DCM, Catena-X is our planning and S&OP suite, meaning you can very easily combine the two and understand the impact of constraint or bottleneck from your suppliers into your planning, and vice versa. As a supplier, you understand from a demand signal how does that flow into your own production planning seamlessly. That's one. Number two is we insist a lot on this collaboration being exception-based or low touch. I think we see that as a critical enabler for onboarding of suppliers and usability and efficiency of decision making. So all workflows that we design are exception-based, and we have a number of technological capabilities and features to support that. Third point is our digital onboarding services, specifically for buyers or OEM, to enable you to onboard at scale your suppliers. And then it's many advanced DCM capabilities, such as the ability to run scenarios or plan scenarios and collaborate on capacity with your suppliers or your customers on scenarios. Second is the ability to collaborate in digital collaboration room, when you can track and mitigate risk or bottlenecks directly into the software, into the technology. Third is what we call Smart Populate, which is one of the features to make it low touch. And finally, is a range of analytics we provide to support continuous improvement, post-gaming, and healthy collaboration between parties. And last but not least, of course, today we talk about DCM use case. In our roadmap, we want to enable many more Catena-X use cases. So going with online, you can also get a chance to benefit from the broader ecosystem. I'll stop here. Again, feel free to reach out to Falco or myself, or this email address to know more. We're happy to actually set up a demonstration of what we can do and share lesson learned, and happy to answer any questions in the Q&A later. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Team 09, Philippe, Falco. And in the mentioned order, the last but not least is then Cat-X services. Also the same note to the guys there to watch the clock, and probably we'll have a good discussion afterwards. Feel free to note your questions either in the chat or on your whatever computer and ask them. This is a great chance to ask all the questions. I think we can answer all of them, and if not, come back to you. And now let's go on with Cat-X services, Mira DCM suite.
Thank you so much, Jürgen, for the introduction, and hello to everyone listening. In the next couple of minutes, we want to give you a short overview of why Mira might be a good solution if you want to meet the Catena-X DCM standard in the most efficient way. But first, let me tell you a little bit about our company. We are Cat-X, a specialized software provider of Catena-X applications. We are an independent Munich-based company and combine passion for innovation and many years in the automotive industry. What's our mission? More strategic capacity management, less firefighting. We've heard quite a little bit on that topic. But what this means in the end is that you can focus on mid-term decision making instead of short-term troubleshooting. Our solution, Mira, guides customers and suppliers through the joint capacity management process in the strategic planning horizon to create a single point of truth, or as we call it, to create a digital collaborative crystal ball. And it's easy and quick in setup. Why is that? For example, the EDC is already included and part of the solution. It's reliable in operations and intuitive to use. But now let's jump directly into the demo. Alex, handing over to you.
As you can see, we access Mira directly via the browser. As a plug-and-play standalone solution, no integration in other systems is required. After logging in, you see either the capacity group overview if you're a supplier or the demand overview if you're a customer. Using the menu on the left side, both roles can access the administration area to manage their supply chain partners' data or their own master data. But for this demonstration, we would like to focus on sending demand data from the customer, receiving it at the supplier side, matching the demand data with the capacity group, and sharing the capacity data to the customer. Here we are on the customer instance, seeing the prepared demand data, different types of rear mirrors. We see serious and extraordinary demands, as well as demands for a phase-in period. The input of demand data is possible either via Excel upload or a direct connection to the ERP system via our integration layer. In addition, manual changing of data directly within the system is possible if this is required, of course. The same is valid for the capacity data of the supplier. Of course, the data can be downloaded into Excel at any time. Let's share the example demands so the supplier can work with them. As you can see, currently the supplier has not received all the demand information yet. The sharing can be done for each individual demand series. So we're sharing them right now. The extraordinary demand is now visible for the supplier, as we can see. It can now be linked to the corresponding capacity group. This is exactly what is done next. For an example, we have a quality control station here. As soon as the capacity is linked to all demands using this resource, it can be shared with the customer. So sharing is done right now. In the demand and capacity matching view, the graph directly shows all linked demands in comparison to the capacity volumes. The green bars signal that the demand in the corresponding week can be delivered without any changes. Yellow and red bars indicate bottlenecks. Yellow, where the demands exceed the actual capacity, and red, where demands exceed the maximum capacity. The different lines visualize the different capacities mentioned. While scrolling through the weeks, we can see the changes in volumes. As our capacity group is a quality control station for manual inspection, we can see drops in actual capacity in summer and winter breaks. If required, the load factor and pre- and post-production can be adjusted within the DCM matching view. This step is shown right now. So we can see here the load factor and down below the post or pre and post production. As the key point of DCM is collaboration, exchanging comments, and requesting updates directly within Mira is also possible, of course. We have a comment field right now and request for update directly within the system possible. So this is basically the core, and the shown example is for multiple demands from the same customer, but multi-customer capacity groups can be managed as well. The same is of course valid for nesting, which allows multi-capacity group structures. We're seeing how easily usable Mira is. The onboarding process is equally uncomplicated and can be done in 3 simple steps. First, you need a legal and digital identification, which can be received by registering at Catena-X, as the other parties as well already said. Then you select the fitting Mira license, and the first user will be created. And that's basically it. So the third step is already done within the system to connect your supply chain partners. As you can see, the whole DCM process with Catena-X makes collaboration within the supply chain possible and transparent. So thank you for your attention. Let us know if you have any questions and don't hesitate to contact directly.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Jürgen, what do you think?
Yeah, I know this is not a topic that is the most important for everybody in the world, but probably for this group of participants, and especially for me, I'm a very, let's call it, enthusiast on that topic. I know how important it is, and to see after many years of working on that topic, there are living and touchable products there is very great. And what I really want to outline here is sort of a mid summary before we go into the questions and all of that is what you see here is the living example of the power of standardization. Standardization is something that comes into your ears and mind as something initially boring for sure, as it was for me. But what you see is that you can use Mira 09 on one and the other side, and they will work together, or an SAP and an 09 solution working together, or a customer OEM that has certified this solution. It doesn't matter. You can choose whatever fits you well. In an extreme scenario, of course, you can choose both apps or one of the three apps for your customer relations and your supplier relations, because your purchasing department and customer department don't find a solution together. It doesn't matter. It's like with the Swiss knife and all its colors, it's always working. And this is the example I often use. And you have seen that today, and I have seen that. And this is answering hopefully your question, Hanno. I'm very happy to see that. What is very important, because this is somewhat of the purpose also of the session, and hopefully the sharing now works initially, but I think it is. You have to have questions, of course, afterwards. You want to have contact with the guys presenting today. We have seen proper presentations of living products. Just note or screenshot that. I think Hanno will also share a screenshot of the contacts here for everybody of you. Get in contact, learn more of the individual solutions, find your decision-making process, whatever where level you are at the moment. Maybe this was your first contact, maybe you're already in the decision process of how to make it because you already want to make it. It doesn't matter. And on Catena-X and all of that stuff, you find so much information at the association and at the internet. We didn't focus on what's so cool on Catena-X itself today. It was a focus on DCM especially. There were many questions. That's why the moment I want to dive into the Q&As already in the chat. And I've seen some questions were about the outdated.
Can I start with a broad question to kick it off?
Yeah, for sure.
So I like the spirit of, let's say, harmony between your three solutions. You all were like very friendly with each other at the same time, like, and I like it because it's our Catena-X spirit, right? We want to work together, we want to standardize together, and so on. Nevertheless, like in this round, I think there are companies that want to make a concrete purchasing decision also at some point. So let's see if you can think on your feet. If you could give like a 30-second to 1 minute elevator pitch why your solution should be selected by the people in the room. I think that would give it a little bit of entertainment factor and spice as well before we go into like the Q&A on a broader sense. Can we do that? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. In that case, like same order. SAP, you had the advantage of starting first. Now you have the disadvantage of having to think, less time to think.
All good. Let's kick it off also here. Minute is running. So like I said already, definitely full commitment from SAP to Catena-X. We are in from the very early beginning as one of the founding members, super active in the first consortia and the second consortia now, and also in the Catena-X Association. Currently the leading provider of Catena-X business applications, not only in the DCM area, so also in the other use cases, so have there a very broad knowledge behind. our collaborative demand and capacity management solution was the first one, which was also officially Catena-X certified. Like we said, it's also easy to consume. It's also in SaaS solution, so no installation, quick setup. But if you want to, for sure, you can have a deep implementation into our backend systems. I think there was also the question in the chat. We have an EDC not in the solution inside. We have a separate EDC. It's called Data Space Integration, which is included in our SAP integration suite, which have a lot of automotive customers already have. So to make you then also Catena-X ready. And like we said, it's a super easy, fast setup, which we have experienced already in POC and with customers. So less effort just to kick it off and test it out with us.
Cool. Thank you. Online.
Very good. Thank you, Arno. So on O9, we're doing capacity collaboration for many years, right? In the industry, right? And one of the challenges, right, is always the supplier onboarding. Like how to make sure that the customer really receives the data that they can consume, right, and really need in the benefit of the entire supply chain. Also, like how does the supplier consume the data? How can you give meaningful results back to the customer? So DCM really helps in that context, right? Because basically it aligns the language, right, between the two parties. So this truly helped, like in many of the conversations that we already had, aligning the two. Our unique selling point I would really see is beside the actual connectivity technology, integrating the information flow really in the back-end processes at the supplier, as Philip mentioned, as well as the customer, right, at the supplier. The question is always like, what is it? Like, how can I allocate my production capacity to a specific customer while I'm producing for many customers on the same capacity? These are the questions, right, we tackle and we have answers for, and our solution supports. Next to it, I would say very unique to O9 is really like the grade of automation, touchless. We don't want to like introduce yet another process and burden the suppliers or the customers with additional things. So we automate a lot in that process. And finally, I think we find good ways to, next to the say regular capacity exchange, also combine things like projected demand, simulation into this process.
Perfect. Thank you. Katharina?
Thank you very much. Over to Katharina.
Perfect. A double handover. I'll make use of that. So I guess our USP is the very high and intuitive usability. We're still waiting for our customers to ask us about the user training that is part of our offer, but we've never delivered it so far, which really underlines the intuitive usage as as Mira focuses on the DCM process in itself, and that makes it very user and SME friendly. So our focus is on small and medium-sized enterprises that maybe today they do have some tool support for their mid and long-term planning, but are heavily reliant on Excel. So our focus is to really give those companies peace of mind and a centralized and digitalized process instead, handling with their decentralized versions of different sheets. As mentioned, it's also plug and play, so super fast and easy in setup, and integration still can be done if in the first phase, for example, typically there is a pilot focused for in the beginning, and if you decide to really put in the work and integrate it to your ERP systems, we can make sure that it is a completely integrated process as well. Yeah, and last but not least, I think where we excel is that our technical and business support is from one single point. So you do have the business competence and the technical competencies with the same people you talk to.
Great.
That was a great round of. Nobody could do a better summary. So therefore, not only for the ones who want to just buy a solution for tomorrow, now we have an even broader impression of what the variety and diversity of all these solutions are. Because, like I said, with the Swiss knife, and I want to highlight that again, you always have the same knife that is working, but you have different colors, different extra tools, different whatever features. And there is not that one solution that fits all and everybody. And so coming from a world where there was no digital answer to that and no solution a couple of years ago, now we have minimum 3 already. And this is a great moment in time. So